My name is Jean-Mike Remy, and from 2015 to 2017, I was the data specialist for the town of Arlington, Massachusetts. Um, and the long and the short is that as a data specialist, we have access to an awful lot of sensitive information, um, and use that data to compile reports for the municipality, across many of the divisions. And specifically, I was working on a few reports for the school system in the town of Arlington. And I just wanted to speak this truth as it's been bothering me, especially today, where in 2015 the data was in such disarray that my primary focus was on improving the data integrity, to make sure we had actionable numbers we can rely on. And through 2016 into 17, I started to take notice of what the data was saying as I was compiling the reports. One of them being the SSDR, the Student Safety and Discipline Report. That's just a breakdown of how many detentions, suspensions, expulsions, and things of that nature, and aggregate that data across the district to submit that as a state report. But what really drove up a flag, a biannual, every 2 years, the CRDC, what's that? The Civil Rights Data Collection Report, and that's a federal report that every town, every city in every state in the United States has to submit. Your town, your city does it too, and somebody has to put all that data together. And while compiling that data, what I found was that for the town of Arlington, that had at the time roughly 1,400 students enrolled, about 3% of those students were identified as Hispanic or Black or special education, and that 3% of students made up 80% of the detentions, expulsions, and suspensions throughout the district. And you've got to figure, being a person of color in a affluent, predominantly white workspace in that district, that kind of hit home to me. So I brought that information in a private meeting with Superintendent Catherine Bodie at the time, and rather than take any action with it, I was instructed to not delve too much into the data, and to not to change the report, but to not be as in depth and keep it surface level, and to not dig as deep to reveal that level of information. And if you know anything about data, and as I said, my primary focus was to improve the data integrity. That's what a data specialist is supposed to do. I was conflicted with what to do, and the only thing I could think of doing, because I'll just say it right now, when I go to a meeting of other data specialists, there aren't a lot of people who are at 36. There aren't a lot of people my age. They're all very old, and they're all not very Black. It's a pretty small group. There aren't a lot of people. I don't want to make it sound like rocket science, but there aren't a lot of people with the patience or aptitude or thoroughness to maintain data integrity. So I didn't want to blow too many whistles, knowing that it's a small circle, and people talk, but I also could not be part of that anymore, and had to burn those bridges and leave abruptly and take my chances, seeing if I could find another home reporting data. And it's always eaten at me, knowing that, I was one of those kids who was disproportionately um, penalized in the school systems, and here I am seeing it happening again, and I couldn't really have a voice because it could hurt me professionally, and I just had to swallow that and live with it. Um, and I don't think many people will see this. Not many people will know me, but I really just had to get it out, um, and let it be known that that's something I had personally been carrying, and I'm tired, yo. I couldn't carry that anymore. Does that change anything right now? Probably not. But it's out there. So if anything, you can look up your city, your town's CRDC report, federal funding um, for your town, whether that's the parks department, the school department, hinges on that. And the level of the thoroughness of that data that's reported is directly tied to federal funding. And you guys should take a look and see what's happening in your town and see what stories are being told with that data, knowing full well that some of that might even be omitted to serve the purpose of those in positions of power. That's it.